She's next. Digital innovation, creating new pathways for female business owners. Lineshri Moodley is the country head of Visa South Africa. With 17 years of retail banking experience, she boasts diverse experience working with financial institutes, MNOs, and fintechs at all stages, designing multifaceted payment strategy from the digitization of payments to innovative, non-traditional and future banking models within SSA. Matebe Ngwenya is the founder and CEO of Beauty on Tap. Ngwenya founded Beauty on Tap in 2015 as a find a beauty service. It later transformed into an e-commerce business that retails a range of local and international beauty and self-care products. Matebe was named a future wealth creator by Forbes Africa magazine. She looks forward to her future of continuing to empower African beauty brands. Mpumi Ledwaba, founder of Wisdom and Wellness, best-selling author, speaker, and award-winning podcaster. Ledwaba started Wisdom and Wellness when she was dealing with postpartum depression. Her life work is to help individuals to take care of their mind, body, and spirit, and to navigate all aspects of their wellness. The moderator is Fifi Peters, senior anchor at CNBC Africa.
Have 15 minutes for this discussion. It's okay. We will accelerate and go through all the salient points, rapid fire style. Mpumi, just given the fact that you came with a fan base, shout out to your fans who are here in the room. So we're here to talk about how to essentially use these digital pathways to accelerate and also create new ways for business. And I think that a lot of women who are here, particularly those who are starting their own entities, here the fact that if you're not on social media right now, or if you're not on a digital platform right now, be it TikTok, be it LinkedIn, be it all the other platforms out there, that you're not in business. But except a lot of them are finding it quite difficult to also monetize their time there and justify why they're applying so much energy. You've done it in podcasting, a space where everybody's trying to be in right now, but you clearly have the secret sauce. Talk to us about your journey.
Thank you so much for having me. Firstly, the secret sauce is that I started when podcasts were still new in the country. So I have time, right? And so for anyone who's entering a new industry, we've already got the time. Myself, Mac G's, we've had the time to start out, but also we weren't making money in the beginning. Only 3-4 years later are we making money in the podcast industry, meaning there's other businesses that we're running behind the scenes to fund this online business until the online business starts making its own money.
Right.
Now, to come back to people who feel like if you're not online, you don't have a business. I was telling Matebe backstage that I went on a leadership retreat, and one of the ladies, and she's in a leadership position, and she said to me, Mpumi, please take content of me. Pella, we're not good at taking content like you. And I take the content and I say to her, by the way, you know that you can actually just enjoy the retreat and get what you came here for. I shoot content because I actually make money off it, right? And the truth is not everyone is going to make money on social media. But just to add on, also, the landscape of social media changes so quickly. In the beginning, it was about the followers, how much numbers you've got, the engagement. But now it's a community game. And once again, as you heard, I didn't come with a fan base. It's that we've built a community of girl pals where I listen to my audience, I interact, I've engaged with them for over 5 years. I know what their needs are. And so we haven't created a space where, oh, there's this influencer or the CEO, I'm one of, and we're all serving each other's needs. As you heard in my bio, my business started from a place of pain. And so I run my business by meeting a need from a community that's online. So I think for everyone who wants to understand, should I leverage or monetize my business online? It's that question of, is there a pain point that you are meeting online? Otherwise, you can use those resources elsewhere.
Sure. I think that essentially sounds like business 101 in terms of if you're getting into business, are you providing a solution or offering something out there that doesn't presently exist? If you are, your chances of success, I am told, I'm not in business, but your chances of success are probably a little bit higher. Matebe, chartered accountant turned investment banker, now a beauty entrepreneur, serial one at that. Your thoughts in terms of navigating the digital space to create new pathways for the business and whether everyone should be online?
So I was actually arguing with Mpums at the back saying that I think all businesses should be digitally present somehow.
Okay.
Because if I use any service, the first thing I do is I go onto Google, even if it's a plumber, to see what the reviews are. So some kind of digital presence. And I think people get stuck on being on Instagram and TikTok and those traditional digital platforms. But it extends way to other platforms. There's LinkedIn, there's Google reviews, there's being on YouTube. There's a lot more other platforms that you can be digitally present on as a business, whether it's a service or product that you are selling. For us, I think it was all about what Mpumi said, and it was about building community. And I always say that community isn't just people you're going to monetize from. It's people who share your posts. It's people who talk about your brand when you're not there. It's people who share information about your brand with other people. And so it shouldn't be a thought process of I need to be available on social media because I need to make money and I need to monetize and I need to get sales. People see your video content, they see what you're selling. They could come back in 2 years' time. You know, we have so many people who are like, I can't afford to buy pastry yet, but in 3 years' time when I graduate, it's the first brand I'm going to buy. So that's what community is all about. It's about having people who value your brand, people who speak about your brand when you're not in the room as well. And that's how you can definitely leverage social media to build that community. And I mean, sometimes it's business to business. If it's business to business, you don't have to like shoot reels every single day. You know, you can just kind of have, you know, a graphic showcasing what your business does. So I think you shouldn't kind of get intimidated by the way, you know, social media is going. You don't have to be there with your team doing TikTok dances. I see CEOs doing TikTok challenges all the time, trying to be cool. It's not about doing that stuff, and that's what intimidates people. I think you can just find a way to really position your business in a different way.
Yeah.
Because we make a joke of it, but I can tell you that even large entities are really struggling to answer that question as to whether I need to be online or whether I don't need to be. I mean, I'm seeing some of the largest asset managers in Africa, the largest banks in Africa, the largest retailers in Africa that are trying to build up this online presence to relate to communities, as it were. But the pudding is not quite proving. Lineshri, maybe just to give a macro view and a perception on what is going on right now. Because as Visa, I know that you work with quite a lot of businesses, and right now we're talking about companies that are doing well in beauty and in wellness and in just perhaps maybe even a bit of hospitality. And we've seen that those kind of businesses tend to do better online than perhaps traditional agriculture and manufacturing entities, as it were. These are businesses that you also work with as Visa within some of your initiatives. So just talk to us about what you've seen and how some of these digital tools have created new pathways for all kinds of businesses, as it were.
Okay, firstly, thank you for having me here today. I think if I just take a step back and to your point, talk about some of the trends, we're certainly seeing a significant increase when it comes to e-commerce as well as digital marketplaces. And if you think about it really, what e-commerce does is it actually gives you a platform that allows you access to customers you perhaps wouldn't have had in the physical space. But over and above that, you know, it gives you access, or it takes away the limitation of geographical limitations, allowing you to get customers from, you know, be it in your country or outside, across different provinces. We hosted She's Next. It's our global advocacy program. And we had phenomenal participants that were in there. We had one of the companies called ePharma that was looking at building digital marketplaces where they brought together, you know, farmers that sell fresh produce and meat onto this digital platform and enable them to get it out, you know, directly to consumers. So again, really powerful innovation that we're seeing. The second one is about allowing women in business to upskill. And so, digital online courses, I think there's multiple modules that can enable you not to just start up a business, but how do you sustain that business for the long term, also providing digital networking opportunities. And I think the last one I'll talk about, and very resonant with your previous panel, is on AI and how AI is helping small businesses as well. And I think a couple of ways in which AI is doing this is one, you're able to see the data that is coming through, how the businesses are transacting, what they're spending on, where they're spending it, and leveraging all of this data to enable fintechs and financial institutions to be able to afford loans that, again, allow you to grow and scale your businesses. AI can be used to enable you to have a good understanding of, what is the stock looking like in your business? How do you manage your inventory? Again, what are your spend trends? So we're seeing lots of trends emerge on this. And like I mentioned, when, through the She's Next program, we're seeing a lot of digital innovation come up and women solving for some of the most pressing needs in society,
Sure.
From infrastructure to sustainability, environmental sustainability, and digital marketplaces. Like
Sure. I mean, on AI, I remember being in doing a conference that was it was quite serious in tone, and I remember asking ChatGPT. I said, "Give me a light-hearted joke to open up the conference to the audience," and it really did. And I can also see how AI is also improving in my day-to-day. But the ladies in business right now, Mpumi, you hear the innovations around AI or ChatGPT, this, that, and the other. How are you looking at it in terms of what it could mean for your next?
Firstly, I think for us it works because the type of business we're trying to run is a lean business, right? And because it's so community focused and interactive, it's very important that we keep it intimate. And because we are a hybrid model, and it's going back to your question of how the digital world, the advancement is impacting our businesses, is that we're able to bring different models into our businesses that work for female entrepreneurs, for women, right? As women, we're nurturers, and then we put into this industry, into corporate, where men are making the structure. So we can't keep up with that. That's why we're burning out. We can't get our kids from home. So in my business, I've decided to build a model that takes into consideration that we have cycles, we have children, we are building homes. And so how AI is helping is, like you said, we instead of having 5 different people do different jobs, we have one person who takes on the role of different people. But also, because we are hybrid, on my first day of my cycle, I don't work because I'm not productive, I'm not a genius, and I know this doesn't sound like, geez, what kind of company are you running? But the truth of it is that I can work any other time. I know that my business, the people who work in my team, they work midnight, they work on Sundays, but this goes with the way that we hire as well, making sure that you hire people who are already leaders within themselves as they come into the business. And so, yeah, the advancements has really helped with shaping the structure of my business, the kind of people that I hire, and also ensuring that we actually have life outside of our business.
Sure. What about the number of people that you hire, Mateba, in terms of AI and what it's doing for your business right now? Is it making you also maybe rethink the number of people that you need for a task before or compared to what was the case before?
I think in South Africa, it's such a balanced view of AI and hiring people, because for me, at the core of my business is hiring people. They always talk about businesses that are giving back, and I'm like, in South Africa, if you're hiring people, you're definitely giving back. So for me right now, AI isn't really positioned as a tool that's going to take over people's jobs, but Beauty on Tap's growth is driven by data collection. I worked in an investment bank, and I think at the time, data collection was the buzzword and how we're leveraging data to be customer-centric. So that's exactly how Beauty on Tap is, and that's how AI is helping us in our business. I think a lot of the skincare industry is very AI-focused at the moment in terms of analyzing people's skin. So, I mean, we don't need a skin consultant digitally anymore. In store, we have AI skin analysis machines that are run by people, because the people recommending products after that is an esthetician who's qualified. So it's more supportive and assisting the business in growth than it is replacing people, and we're just leveraging AI to get better data and to better grow our business and to be as sustainable as possible. But I don't think for now, for me, it's necessarily a tool that I don't want people walking into Beauty on Tap and having to self-checkout or have robots serve them. I still think that personal touch is really important.
Okay, so we can still knock on your door potentially
Yeah.
then for a job for now. Lineshri, I suppose in terms of addressing the gender gap and your view on what you think technology will do to either close it or widen it. I mean, I've heard different arguments regarding both. It depends who you're talking to. But do you see it potentially closing the gender gap when it does come to quality of pay and quality of opportunity, of course?
Yeah, so I think when you think about technology developments, you have to think about, one, does it meet the need, and two, how accessible it is. And I think that I'll deal the second point first in terms of accessibility. I think we have to find ways to make the technology accessible to women. We know that SMEs are the lifeblood of the economy on this continent, and majority of the SMEs are actually women-run. But they still face a lot of challenge in getting access to funding, in getting access to networks, in getting access to mentorship. And I think those are the things that we're going to need to work on in order to bring the access for women to use the technology. And I think the second way that we're going to bridge the divide is meeting women where they are in their, I think you spoke about, in the different life stages. And using things like e-commerce, using technology, using AI to enhance what you're doing as another alternative, enables women to still build their businesses, but leveraging technology to enable them.
Okay, so I know that we had prepared to say a whole lot more, but unfortunately we are out of time. But let's use the 40 seconds that we do have just to leave parting shots for the audience in terms of what you think could be applicable and also relevant for them in this space. Mbumi, your parting shots on this conversation is what?
I think we are at a women's summit. I think we need to start leading with intention and leading with our strength. And our strength is gentleness. And I know it's tempting to want to lead like men, but I think when we lead like men, that's when we face burnout. And I talk a lot about burnout because I am in the wellness industry, where we find ourselves dealing with sicknesses, and then either way you can't show up for your business. But I think if we start leaning into what way can I show up as a leader, as a woman, in a way that ensures there's productivity, there's growth, there's power, but I'm still taking care of myself for longevity. There we go.
Got it.
I think for me, what's really important, and it speaks more to our gender role as women, I think a lot of women become so intimidated by innovation and tech and AI, and I think the way the world is going now is it's becoming so easy now to implement those kind of things into your businesses and to just break barriers in industries where they're normally male-dominated. And innovation and technology and digital also just gives you a really a more affordable cost base than you would have to use if you had to open brick and mortar stores. So I think even if you're thinking of starting a business, starting off digitally is way cheaper, it's more effective, it's more efficient for you. So definitely leverage digital. I think Beauty on Tap's growth has been because of community. People always ask, are you funded? And I'm like, the business is literally funded by community, and that's just been from building a digital community of people online. So don't be intimidated by the buzzwords like AI and so on. It's really simple, and it's easy to use tools to build your business.
So not as complex as it sounds. But Lineshri, final word to you.
Yeah, so I think I completely agree, embrace digital. But fundamental to all the programs that we do, whether it's She's Next or some of the other partnerships, we know that networking and mentorship is really fundamental for women-owned businesses. This is where they lack access, and this is where we really need. So it's not just about providing funding for a business, but providing access to the networks and mentorship. So I'll leave you with the quote that I've heard. I think it's from Michelle Obama, and she says, "When we share our stories with fullness and openness, we often discover that we are less alone and more connected than we thought we were." And this is the power of networking and the access that it opens, so that you're able to learn from each other, both on how you succeeded and also the challenges that you experience. So that would be my parting shot.
I'm
found
about
my
to lose
word,
my job.
longevity.
And
Longevity.
Longevity, got you. Wonderful, wonderful way to close the panel discussion, as well as your wonderful quote. Thank you, closing the chapter on this. But of course, the conversations will continue throughout the day. More lunch and also the gala dinner later. But wonderful ladies in the audience, so please help me thank the wonderful ladies on stage for their wonderful thoughts. Thank you.